want to slow down our tonality and lower our tone. There's no pressure here. Like I mentioned, a no is completely okay. It sounds like you're just happy where you're at, and that's fine. And then we pause. What normally happens when we pause is then they will provide information on why they want to stay where they're at. And then if they don't, then after we pause for 1 to 3 seconds, maybe 2 to 3 seconds, then we can re-engage and try to find out clarity. Does that make sense? Okay, so anytime you're changing companies, they like the benefits. She said she liked the benefits, right? Okay, but they say they don't want to change. It should be a universal word track. What do we do?
What potential benefits were with Humana? Would there be anything solving? Something like that.
Yes, you would insert whatever they say,
Mhm.
whatever their objection. So if they say, hey, I want to pray about it, awesome. So let's pretend the additional benefits and lower costs were with Humana. Would you still want to pray about it? If they say yes, what's the issue?
Value.
It's value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then we just need to label it and say, so it sounds like you just don't think this plan offers more value. Because why would they turn down benefits with the same company if they had to do nothing, if they just got them? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So then at least you know what you need to address. And they go, yeah, this plan sounds the same. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And we still push away. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, why in the world would you want to change if you think the benefits are the same? Then we're going to ask a buying question. Well, let's pretend I could point out the key areas where this provides additional benefits and lowers your cost. Then would it make more sense? And then you would go and point out the areas you had mentioned. These are tiebacks. You said you had mentioned this, you had mentioned this, and you had mentioned this. If there's no value, what do we have? Starts with an N and ends with a no. We have no sale. If there's no value, we can't go back and build value. It's just a no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We can't create value, and we aren't going to lie and be dishonest. But if there is value somewhere, then we go back and attach to the value. So sometimes we present and they go, well, the plan, I don't see the difference, and there isn't a big difference. We can't create value out of no value. And that's just a no. We followed the process, we presented, they made the decision, it was a no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So was there anything you didn't like about these, getting this increase in benefits, getting more benefits than you did with Humana?
Okay, one other thing. A lot of people are doing this. We don't go negative with a positive at the close. So what I mean is we don't go, is there anything you don't like about getting this, getting this, getting this? What's the answer going to be?
No.
No, I want that stuff. What do we need to find out? What their fears. Does that make sense?
They don't like about
Correct. So we don't want to go, well, is there anything you don't like about what you said you like, what you said you like, and what you said you like? They're going to go, no, I like that stuff. I still want to stay where I'm at. So we just want to go, I forgot, what would be the downside? Sorry. We're going, what would be the downside to getting benefit versus, well, what would be the downside to changing? We want to find out what is negative in their eyes, not try to get them to say yes to the positive. Do you guys see the difference?
Yeah. Most of the time, the doctor comes out for something like that with that.
I'm
Very end.
I'm not sure. So what would that sound like?
Their objection.
No, they go, I just want to stay where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Well, last time I changed, it was this big problem. I hear that a lot.
Are you asking us to tell you be the agent or the customer?
The agent.
So they say, I want to think about it, or what?
I'm just gonna stay with Humana, like that call, even though she liked the benefits.
Just being like, wouldn't you be like, I hear you? Or like, okay, but like, what would be the downside of getting this plan? Or, because you don't want to say what would be the downside of getting these awesome benefits, because you're saying not.
Yeah, you could say what would be the
The worst
potential
thing
downside
that
of
could
changing.
happen
Okay, just.
Or
yeah.
let's
the
pretend
worst
you did
thing-
change. What's the worst thing
that can happen. Yeah.
Perhaps it was saying like, oh, no worries, I'm a little curious, what would be the downside to change?
Yes, but if you've sold the exit, so this isn't selling the exit. I want to think about it. Hey, no worries. I understand. Sounds like it's a no. What would be the downside? that's not letting them off the hook. That's not releasing the pressure. Does that make sense? So what we're doing is we're saying the words, but we actually, our intention is not to understand. Our intention is try to close, and it's backwards.
Yeah.
At that point, our intention to be to try to understand where the customer's coming from. Our intention shouldn't be to get them to say yes. And that's what we're trying to do when we run through this. Does that make sense?